can't come in hostile environments versus good people and not be aggressively pursue victory. We're not going to live in our fears. That's just how we get down. Same thing on the fake punt. That is me. I own that. I'll do it again. But we didn't execute it. And so it was a bad idea.
Fan Hotline presented by Sullivan Super Service, Pittsburgh trusted plumbing and HVAC provider for over 50 years. And we are going to take your calls all morning long on your biggest takeaway from Steelers 28, Commanders 27. But let's spend a minute here on this fake punt, Dorin, before we do dive into the phone calls. You liked it. I didn't like it. I understand why people like it. You made a really good argument for why you did like it, though, before the show.
I mean, you wanted to take the game to the Commanders, and in that moment, you want to be aggressive, and I thought that there was no better time to do that. Like, there was no better time in the game to make something like that happen. And you're like, listen, we don't feel like the Commanders can beat us. Like, I thought that was an absolute message. Like, they were not worried that if we don't execute this fake punt, where in the area they're at on the field, knowing that if they didn't execute it, they would turn the ball over basically in the red zone in your own red zone, that if we spotted the Commanders 7 points, we could still win this football game. That was the message that I took. Like, they were willing to get so aggressive in that area of the field that if it didn't execute, they were willing to spot the Commanders and Jaden Daniels 7 points, and they weren't worried about it. They were like, listen, we'll give you 7 points, and we'll still beat you. That was the message that I took. Like, they thought that they were going to win that football game regardless, and because I don't see them doing that against, like, the Chiefs. I think that you have a lot more respect for Mahomes and the Chiefs if they get up 7 points, but you clearly, I'm not saying that they didn't respect the Commanders, didn't respect Jaden Daniels, but they were willing to give them 7 points if that didn't work, which it didn't work, and they did give them 7 points, and still have the faith of them winning the football game and getting back into it, or, coming back into that football game even down, they were down 7 points.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they could have, if they convert on that, I mean, they're going to go down the field and get points.
Yes.
I mean, they're going to go up 10-0, 14-0. So I understand what you're saying, and I get that players probably love that. They probably love that. Oh, we ain't scared. Our coach has balls.
Yep.
They probably love that. My only problem is when you've got a defensive back in Killebrew throwing to another defensive back in James Pierre, you can't assume success. And a lot of fans were saying, like, the call was great. You just got to catch the ball. You do got to catch the ball. But that's not going to be a 100% conversion rate. It's just not. Not when you got a DB throwing to a DB. It's not. And so while I appreciate that they then give the players freedom to check into that on the field, which is what some of the guys were saying in the locker room afterwards, to me it's like my daughter has freedom to go into the snack cupboard whenever she wants to. But not like an hour before dinner because I don't want her filling up on junk.
Mm-hmm.
If it's between the 30s even, the 40s, and you want to have your players get the freedom to check into that, totally get it. At the 15-yard line, to me, it was a little much, and it ultimately could have cost them the game. It didn't. The aggressive approach from Tomlin there, though, I think is ultimately going to serve them well as they move forward in the season.
Yeah.
Knowing that we're not scared of a 7-2 football team in their place. They're sure as bleep not going to be scared of Baltimore, and they're not going to be scared of anybody on their schedule. So I do think that you can spin this in the positive, and I'm sure the players liked it. So I can see both sides of the argument.
Well, I mean, they practice it probably 100 times during the week, and even Pierre said after the game that he's caught every single one of them.
Caught it every time.
And you can't, like, substitute, who would be the like Van Jefferson out there.
Oh, and I'm not even
it'll be a pass.
Yeah, I'm not even saying that they should switch anything up with it other than I wouldn't do it from my 15. That's the only thing that I have a problem with. I thought it was beautifully designed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we've seen many a fake field goals, punts over the time we've been watching and you've been playing football. That was cute.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I like that. I do like it.
I just don't know. I was sitting there thinking about it yesterday, and I was like, when is I don't think that there is a better time. I really don't. Like, I think that was the perfect time. Like, there's no other time that, would have been better than that. Whenever you're thinking that you wouldn't do it backed up on your own 15, and so are they.
Yeah, Washington's not going to have the jammer sprint in if they are on the 40. because you are going to be afraid of the fake. I understand that point, too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we can leave this guy uncovered out there. It's the 15-yard line.
Conservative Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers, they're not doing that.
If that ball's a little bit more on the money, too, even.
He's gone.
And he catches it, yeah. Because you just got to beat your guy, which looked like that was already going to happen. And then you got to beat the punt returner, which I'll take James Pierre in the open field and we'll see what happens.